Well, good evening, and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Cricket Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me are my co-hosts in Calvin Waldron and Andre Doc Manders. Good evening, gentlemen. We've had 2 days of cricket. I wouldn't say 2 full days of cricket because rain prevented a full day yesterday. Let's just quickly run down the results of the weekend in action. We'll start with yesterday. The Eastern County Cup first round match was drawn between St. David's Cricket Club and Baylis Bay. The match didn't get underway until well into the afternoon after morning rain. St. David's were all out for 105, and Baylis Bay scored 63 for 3 in their reply before stumps were drawn at 7:20. In Premier Division action in T20 today, St. George's Cricket Club won by 22 runs over Western Stars. St. George's batted first and scored 115. Western Stars could only manage 93 for 5 in reply. Baylis Bay defeated St. David's Cricket Club by 3 wickets. St. David's Cricket Club batted first and scored 99 for 8. And Baylis Bay would score 100 for 7 in reply. Somerset Cricket Club won by 9 wickets over Willowcotts. Willowcotts scored 95 for 9, and Somerset would score 97 for 1. In First Division, Cleveland County won by 10 wickets over Flats Victoria. Flats Victoria scored 71 for 6, and Cleveland County would reply 72 without loss. Somerset Bridge won by 39 runs over Devonshire Recreation Club. Somerset Bridge scored 106 for 8. Devonshire Recreation Club was all out for 67. Warwick Workmen's won by 5 wickets over Southampton Rangers. Southampton Rangers scored 120 for 3. And Warwick Workmen scored 126 for 5. Well, gentlemen, let's jump right into yesterday's match with Baylis Bay, a much anticipated match. Baylis Bay and St. David's Cricket Club. We noticed, it was a lot of talk around about this match with several players in and out. There was a big discussion whether or not Marcus Scotland was eligible to play. That went down to the wire. He was ineligible at the end of the day. So if, by all recollection, if St. David's would have won the match, it would have been deemed an eligible player, played for St. David's, and they wouldn't have been able to wrestle that cup away from Baylis Bay. That was the choice that St. David's made at the start of the match. So you think rain deprived us of an evenly balanced match, Cal?
I would definitely say, there was a lot of hype and build up to it. And quite obviously, Mother Nature had other intentions and it petered out into a draw. Rain affected match and low scoring match draw.
Yeah. Doc, Baylis Bay won the toss and sent St. David's to bat. Not sure if you noted early in the day when they took the covers off around 10 o'clock, the pitch was soaked. The covers, they had to have holes in them because the wicket was soaked. They tried sponging it, and then another shower came, they covered it back over. When they took it off, it was even wetter. Another shower came in there and they put an underlay down. And then when they finally took those covers off, you could see how much water was seeping through the tarp when they took it off. What do you think we need to do a little better to try and protect, especially the wicket? That's the most important part of the game, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, that's up to the club. We talk about that. Talk about that just heard today about wickets. Nothing prepared properly, and that's the first thing. Covering it, uncovering it, making sure it's covered. The getting the ballast should cover it, and then taking it off to get some sunlight. If it's not, but that due to groundsmen, and clubs are struggling now to pay groundsmen. It's a lot of things. I don't like to go into stuff like that there, but whereas before clubs could do that, you have to worry about paying people. Somebody just go on and do it. In the area, just go and do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's. I mean, we have to debate on it right there. Nobody's gonna bet on that wicket.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I was kind of surprised too. That's kind of. I'm sure in the next kind of game they will probably make sure that there's covers because that got to backfire for them too.
Right.
But yeah, I really think that clubs need to do better. Preparing the wickets this year. If you look at it, there's been a lot of low scores even today. I mean, and that's part of the reason because the unreadiness over the wickets this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, all the rain we've been having.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it's not for you to do, but Mother Nature in it. So that's another thing too. So it's one of those things this season. We had a lot of rain, and I think a lot of the clubs probably wasn't prepared for it.
I mean, we note a lot of times when it comes to, especially even a club match. Generally, there's only one or two groundsmen there, and if it is raining, you rely heavily on the home team players to assist, either getting the covers on or getting them off. It's a thankless job, to tell you the truth, preparing wickets. That person 9 times out of 10 is only talked about to get blamed for not preparing a good wicket. And that's where I think we struggle. But looking at St. David's, they got off to probably the worst start they could get off to. Well, 1 without loss, 2 for 2, 3 for 12, 4 for 38. That was a 26-run partnership between John Tay Smith and Mackay Simmons. And then 5 for 40, 6 for 55, 7 for 75, 8 for 85, 9 for 85, and then a 20-run last wicket partnership between Aaron Painter and Brian Hall that took them to 105. They never seemed as if whatever the plan was, it almost backfired right from the start. Wouldn't you agree, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, maybe when you got a rain delay like that, it's hard planning. I mean, first of all, they need to get a good start, and they never got that. I think it was one team batted. I don't know. Sometimes it was kind of confusion. I mean, overs they was going to bet. I think one team batted 39, the other one 31.
31. So yeah. So I had suggested, no matter what St. David's done, you bet between 25 and 31, right? And give yourself the opportunity to bull Bay out in the rest of the overs. But with the bad start, they only batted 29.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, with the start, so they never got a start, and that was, mainly due to the wicket and probably some poor shots too. But it's like I said, it was kind of hard for St. Davis too. The only thing St. Davis was probably hoping that they won the toss and 10 million. You know what I mean? So, and then try to build them out on that wicket, but they didn't win the toss. So it was stacked against them. They had, like I said, they never got a good start, and they was always, you can't, like a team like Bay is no way you score 100, just 100 or just over 100 runs, and then expect for that line of Bay not to get. But like you said, if they would have scored that 20, 25, 30 overs, got like 150. You know what I mean? Something you're good at.
Yeah,
and then you had a chance, but even then, it was probably would have been difficult. They definitely had to win the toss.
Cal, there was a moment in the match where it was held up in the second over with no sight screen, covering the center part of the wicket. Who's actually responsible for that?
I would say that's the Ham Club. I know the match officials were there Friday night and discussed it. And the Ham Club, or the Ham venue rather, would have been responsible for ensuring that it was covered.
Yeah, because I mean, when I got there, I looked at it and I said, well, that's not in line with the wicket. And everybody we talked around with said the same thing. It's not in line with the wicket. And then they took a small one and put it on the wrong side. Spent time putting it there. And then, that second over, the first ball from Malachi to OJ Pitcher, he never even, I don't think he saw it even leave Malachi's hand until it actually hit the ground next to him, and indicated right away that there's no sight screen there. And then that took almost 20 minutes to sort out.
Well, as you said earlier, it's probably the same guy that's doing the pitch. So unless there is help to help resolve that, the groundsmen are busy. Yeah.
And then let's take a look at the Bayless Bay. And I mean, they knew as the cup holders, they didn't have to get 106. They just had to bet out the remainder of the day to take it to 7:20. They got a good start with Shirai Tavares getting 14. They lost their first wicket on 14. Azende hadn't been off the mark. Azende went on to score 26. Jared Richardson out for 9. Dowray and Taryn Frey sought the night out, both 6 not out, to see they retain the trophy and be lined up to face Flats Victoria come 2 weeks after cup match.
Yeah, it's, like I said, it wasn't much of a challenge for him. So it was a matter of just going through the emotions, more or less entertaining the people that were there. St. David's would have needed a miracle to really bite into their batting lineup. Yeah. And it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, rain prevented a lot of the hype to go away. But it didn't deter the people from going away because more people started to come the minute the game started. I happened to turn around and I was like, oh my gracious, where all these people come from? But, it was nice to see a large crowd at a game, similar to, I know Western County had a large crowd, but not as large as the Eastern County one. And hopefully when Western County resumes, they can get a large crowd up there as well, because cricket is kind of coming back stronger than ever. And I know these teams need the support that they can get. Let's jump right into today's match. We all had a chance to see the St. George's Western Stars game at the National Sports Center. St. George's batted first and scored 115, all out. And then Western Stars could only manage to 93. Both teams, Doc, would you say struggled at times getting the ball from the square? St. George's they were struggling to get it out, but every time they did get it out, they were hungry to take the 2s and the 3s when they could. Was that something that Stars should have tried to rectify, cutting down, especially the 3?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, even though St. George's got a few runouts, right, but they still was able to pick up the 2s and 3s on that big field. And every now and then, they might get one ball, a 6, like I think it was Zico Burgess, right?
Yeah, Zico got 2 6s, yeah.
Couple of 6s. But they're running, even though they're running between the wickets, probably still needs a lot of work because they got a few runouts. But their game plan was to get at least start getting these singles where Stars was doing in that betting. They was getting 2s and 3s. They was turning singles. And they wasn't hitting the ball hard to the player. They was hitting it like in the gap, making 2s and putting pressure on Stars.
Right.
You gotta get. I mean, Stars stuck to that game plan, but I just thought that, the betting really let them down. And they'll run it between the wickets, not putting away the bad balls. I think that was something. One thing with St. George's. St. George's got billed out. Stars only lost 5 wickets.
5 wickets, yeah.
Like I said, it was. Their game plan was to get Zico up in the order, and they sent Zico already. They got the run rate. And he got a quick fire. I don't know how much runs he got, maybe 15, 20.
He got 21.
Right, and then
Mackay got 28, and he got 21.
Right, and then the other batsmen that came in, they was working the ball around, getting the 2s and 3s. I mean, sometimes they're hitting balls straight to players and run. But sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. That's when they end up getting runouts. But I thought still 115. I looked at it. I said this still going to be hard. The Stars can get a good start, and they never got a good start. They struggled. I think the first in the power play. I think it was Trey and my nephew Jaden. Like they just couldn't get the ball away. They struggled early in the power play.
Yeah, when they lost their first wicket after 6 overs, they only had 19 runs.
Right, but I still thought, maybe they could have picked up some more runs in that power play. I think they missed some of them, both of them probably missed some bare balls where they didn't capitalize on. Whereas St. George's, I don't know how much they didn't score in the power play, but maybe they was just ahead of them in the power play, but they kept losing wickets. Yeah,
they were losing wickets. They were, I think, 31 for 24 for 1 after 5.
Not
Yeah.
much difference. So it's not if you look at it, not much difference from Stars.
Right.
Stars was 19.
Right.
So, but I think with the difference in our power play and Stars power play that Stars will put away the Bill Bulls.
Right.
The running between the records, all right, but they gave up too many dot balls.
Right. Right.
Too many dot balls. Both teams gave up too many dot balls, but you know, we keep saying it. We playing on big fields that you gotta find the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Singles too as you can. You know, giving up too many dot balls because they're going to struggle betting. Well, you're going to struggle either way. Both teams struggled in their betting.
Right, getting that ball out of the square.
Yeah,
Cal, a lot of times the ball was staying low. It wasn't I wouldn't say an inconsistent bounce, but it was a bounce where the ball wasn't coming up a lot, other than when a few of these what's the name? They got the three wickets. He managed to build. There's no balls. I think the ball was slipping out of his hand a lot. Laquan Smith.
Yeah.
But when he got it right. I mean, you know, on the stumps kind of thing. Cal, you had a first-hand look at it because you actually umpired the first game. What was what? Give us a reading on the wicket itself.
Like we discussed last week, it definitely favored the slower bowling, the seam bowling, not particularly the spin bowling, but seam bowling. And if you look at that game, bowlers that bowled stump to stump were successful. Yeah, they bowled at a little fuller length where batsmen weren't able to hit the boundary balls. They were hitting them hard, but they were getting right to the fielders. So definitely both teams utilized their slower bowlers today, and it favored them.
Sure. So we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk the Cleveland Flats match. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this? John Barrett & Son is bringing us something fresh and exciting for the new year. Bai Antioxidant Infusion Beverage. Bai delivers the natural antioxidant benefits of the coffee fruit in glorious combination with a variety of exotic fruit flavors, with only 1 gram of sugar and 10 calories per bottle. The folks at Bai are inviting us on a world tour through these amazing flavors. Brasilia blueberry, Zambia Bing cherry, Costa Rica clementine, Malawi mango, Panama peach, Ipanema pomegranate, Kupang strawberry kiwi, and more. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
And welcome back. I did say the Cleveland Flats match. That's later on in the show in the first division. But we're going to talk Bailey's Bay and St. David's. The two teams played to a draw the day before. St. David's had many outside players that are eligible to play county for them playing yesterday. But today, they could only manage 99 runs for 8 in their 20 overs. And Bailey's Bay scored 107 in 19.3 overs. A very low-scoring game. You're talking about 15 wickets lost. 199 runs in total scored. Again, a bad start for St. David's. Marcus Scotland was out when the score was on 10. Mikhail Crockwell out when the score was on 20. Derek Bringman, 52. Aaron Painter, when it was 54. Justin Pitcher, 64. George O'Brien, 65. Saki Robinson, when it was on 79. Eugene Bowl, when it was on 87. Their highest score was Isaiah O'Brien, who scored 24. And the pick of the bowlers was Delray Rollins, 4 overs, 3 for 12. Just looking at the scorecard for St. David's, only 3 players scored in double figures, and that was Derek Bringman on 17, Aaron Painter on 18, and of course Isaiah O'Brien with that 24 not out. On a field like, no, we looked at the National Sports Center field, so St. David's is quite spacious as well. 99 runs on that field. It's hard to say if the bowling was tight, but is 99 runs enough on Lords for St. David's?
I don't know. Normally 99 runs, I mean, that's gettable. Only thing I could think, for that win we had yesterday, maybe the record was probably a little damp. I don't know if it was a late start or whatever. But normally, St. David's records is playing really good. I mean, it's been some high scores down there if you think about it in the 2020 and 50 overs. So I don't know.
Maybe it had a lot to do with what happened after the game yesterday.
Could be. Yeah, could be. Both teams played, and maybe they was tight. They probably used a few youngsters up in there, but like I said, it could have been that. But normally, like 99 runs in St. David's, it is a spacious field. So I think what probably happened is, the Berlins has really been very, well, obviously good. It's been outshining the batsmen this year. And there's been some good fielding and so I don't know. Like I said, and St. David's struggle, like you said, they lose in 7 wickets. So that's something that we wasn't there to the game. I don't know, so I can't.
Yeah, well, we got a message that the batsman failed today.
Okay.
But interestingly enough, in the chase, Bailey's Bay got a horrible start. Courage Dorm was out on the third ball. He was out for naught. So they were naught for 1. Then they were 9 for 2 when Sharad Tavares got out, 3 for 13, 4 for 15, and then 5 for 28 when Taryn Frey got out in the 8th over. And then it was a partnership between Stephen Otterbridge and Delray Rollins. It took them to 78 for 6 before Delray got out. And that was 7 overs later in the 15th over. Delray was out for 39. Stephen would then have a partnership with Rodney Trott that would take him to 92. And then Rodney was out, and Stevens remained at the crease along with Kyle Hudson. It took him to 100 in the 19.3 overs. Stephen Otterbridge was 32 not out. Again, only 3 batsmen in double figures. Jarrett Richardson scored 10. Stephen at 22, and Delray Rollins 39. It was 2 ducks, a 2, a 5, a 9, and a 5 not out. I mean, it's hard to judge it, isn't it, Cal?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing consistent St. David's on was their batting was continued. So nobody's performing for them. So it's almost like, where did they begin to fix things? Like the master said, the batsmen failed. So St. David's were as they were previously the week before. But I think the surprise would have been Bay struggling to get that 99, losing the amount of wickets that they did.
Right.
But to St. David's credit, they built well and they got early wickets and clumps to their partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I agree too. Like I said, they ain't making much runs, but they still, they're still in it with the Berlin. So I just hope that once they got the batting, start making some runs, then the Berlins would have something to feel at. Then they probably end up start winning some games.
Well, let's go to the surprise match. The it's only a surprise because who played Willocots and Somerset. Somerset won this match by 9 wickets. Willocots could only score 95 for 9, and they're allotted 20. And Somerset would score 97 for 1 and 9.2. For Willocots, they had Antonio Darrow scoring 39. Shaquille Bean scored 11. Deontay Darrow 10. Joseph Baisden 11. There were Dean Stevens was run out without scoring. They started off 1 for 12, 2 for 17, 3 for 26, 4 for 40, 5 for 40, 6 for 61, 7 for 68, 8 for 92, and then 9 for 93. And they would get 2 more runs off the last 2 balls. Isaiah Richardson 2 for 14 off of 3, and everyone else took a wicket, including Chris Douglas. Chris Douglas played for Somerset today.
You're trying, Earl.
Right?
That's going to be an interesting outcome.
In the chase, Chris and Kamal opened up. Kamal scored 27 off of 9 balls, 1 4, 3 6s. He was out on 27. Chris was not out on 18, with Dominic Sabir coming in and scoring 44 from 24. That included 4 4s and 2 6s.
So, well, it looks like Chris is back.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't see Somerset playing him without, going through what they needed to go through to get him to play. If anybody knows the people, the management in Somerset and even the coaching staff in Somerset, they're not going to play a player, ineligible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Most definite.
Yeah.
So whatever was in the papers, nobody knows what was going on. Like, I don't know.
Well, you know what it is.
Stories is like, is he playing? Is he gonna play this now? If he misses 20, is it eligible to play? 50, 20? I don't know. It's just what I know is good to see him back out, and I just gotta keep his mouth closed and go play some cricket, Chris.
Well said.
I need him. He need a full cup match. He makes runs every cup match.
Yeah. He's one of the most consistent batsmen when it comes to the classic. Over the last few years, he's been a thorn in St. George's side right from the start. So there would have been a lot of people happy when they would have seen that, but I guess we have to wait to see what happens. What's the outcome of that from the board? Hopefully, the board makes a public statement and regarding that issue. Wild Child, he's a nuisance. He's a nuisance when it comes to cup match. Hopefully they release something publicly to let people understand what's going on. The report, I figured, and I feel strongly, came from an inside source who got information from, his other job and used it for his main job to get a story out. And I think that's where the board needs to take some responsibility and ownership and ensure that those type of things don't happen again. They happened last year, and it needs to be addressed in the right way, fast and furious. So, yeah. Well, let's take another commercial break, and when we come back, we will talk First Division cricket.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Here's one of our favorite feature brands, true veterans of the food awareness movement. Bob's Red Mill, the U.S. leading miller of organic whole grain foods. Only whole grains have the entire value developed during growth. And once you try them, you know that this is the way food was intended to be. Try Bob's Red Mill blanched almond, whole wheat pastry, and artisan bread flours, and 1-to-1 gluten-free baking flour, unsweetened shredded coconut, gluten-free homemade wonderful bread mix, and a variety of rolled oats. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Come back. Well, in first division play, Cleveland County won by 10 wickets over Flax Victoria. Flax just never, ever got themselves into this match. They scored 71 for 6 in 20 overs. Again, that was at Lords as well. So, struggling on that wicket. Clearly, they were no match for Cleveland County today. When you look at a team like Flats, you're never sure which team's going to show up. Sometimes they could be unbeatable. They look like they're unbeatable, and then there's other times they look like the cricket's the balls the first time they've seen it, and that's unfortunate. Hopefully they can get more consistent. So their scorecard, they had Jan Johan Nell was out for 1 after 8 balls. Dejan Carey faced 20 balls and was out for 10. Keegan Jones was out for 19 after 34 balls. Kevin Hurdle was out for 3 after 6. Kaiwan Franks out for 7 after 10. Detroit Smith out for 4 after 10. Reginald Baker was not out for 4 after 14. And Kofi Robinson was not out for 9 after 6. So they struggled getting the ball away from, the square. If you look at the Cleveland Bowlers, Dion 1 for 16 from 4. Jelani Richardson 1 for 7 from 2. Kushai Darrow 1 for 18 from 4. Jabari Darrow 1 for 10 from 2. Makai McGowan 1 for 14 from 4. And Alan Douglas, though Tua was 1 maiden, 1 for none. So the bowling was tight. Flash just couldn't manage to get the ball away.
It definitely sounds like a struggle for both teams that played at that particular bronze. Like Doc said, it might have been a situation of a damp or bad pitch. And just, the ball just wasn't coming on to play the typical T20 shots.
Yeah. And then, of course, in reply, Cleveland would not lose a wicket with Kushai Darrow 29 from 41 and Treadwell Gibbons 27 from 33. Flats bowled 14 wides, giving up 16 extras. When you got a low score, you got to keep those extras down. That's unfortunate, really unfortunate for them that that went that way. Very interesting matchup with Southampton Rangers and Warwick. Southampton Rangers scored 120 for 3. Alex Dorr was their top scorer with 51. 51 not out. Dalen Richardson, 28. Najaya Reyna, 18. They had lost their first wicket on 3, and then they lost their second wicket on 34. And then Dalen and Alex took the score to 113 from the 4th over right through to the 17th over. They took that score up to 111. And then Jelani Oldboy and Alex ended the inning. The bowlers, Luke Fulton, were 2 for 14, and the only other bowler to get a wicket was Malachi Jones, 1 for 23 from 4. The funny part was Ward Weckmans was cruising. They were 113 for 3. Then they were 113 for 2. They were 118 for 2, and they would lose Corey Burgess on 118, Stephen Dill on 118, and Luke Horan on 118 before the winning runs were scored, with Malachi Jones not out on 39, taking them through. Zuri Tomlinson was the top scorer with 46. I know there must have been some nervous people in the pavilion when they couldn't get those 2 runs needed to get across the line. If they'd have lost those wickets when they was 110, you think it would have been more trouble for them, Doc?
Maybe if they lost it at 100, but at 118, they got all those wickets. It's probably one of those things. The batsman came in and probably try to finish it, either finish it or probably bad shots or something like that there. And sometimes in situations like that, they got to remember when it comes down to net run rate and all that, and you lose all the wickets and you're tied for teams, you gotta finish the game off. Like 2 runs, come on, you should be losing 4 or 5 wickets.
There's plenty of overs to go too.
Yeah,
plenty of overs to go.
Complacency, that's probably what happened, but they should be great. They won, so that's probably the main thing. I'm sure the coach is probably being one of those ones that got out. Come on, man, 2 runs, 4 wickets. Doesn't sound right.
Yeah. And then the final first division game was Somerset Bridge defeating Devonshire Recreation Club by 39 runs. Somerset Bridge would score 106 for 8, and then Bow Devonshire Recreation Club out for 67. When you look at a team like Somerset Bridge, I have to always keep commending them because they keep showing up regardless of what situation they're in. They have some youngsters with some senior players. They would score 105 on that wicket up at the National Sports Center. They didn't get a good start either. 1 for 2, 2 for 2, 3 for 9, 4 for 16, 5 for 32, 6 for 73, 7 for 92, and 8 for 100. And then they would score 6 runs in the last 5 balls of the inning. Their top scorer, 32, Joshua Gilbert, not out. Adrian Burrows was 20, and Donnie Charles scored 12. That was the middle order that kind of got them out of that rut and a respectable score put on the scoreboard. Shaquille Pitcher, 2 for 14. Lamont Brangman, 2 for 19. Dion Bowl, 2 for 27. And Chris Daly, 1 for 23. All of them built 4 overs. But then in reply for Devonshire Recreation Club, only 1 player was in double figures, and that was Nkrumah Cannonier. And he scored 11. He opened the inning with Durande Bascom, and they struggled right from the start. Those 2 put on 23 runs in 3.3 overs before Nkrumah was out. And then they were 2 for 23. Lorenzo Simmons was out. 3 for 28. Clay Darrell was out. 4 for 38. Freeman Lima was out. 5 for 38. Durande Bascom was out. 6 for 48. Dion Bowl. 7 for 54. 8 for 58. 9 for 63. And then 10 for 67. So if you look at it, I mean, a lot of the strokes from let's talk a little bit about Devonshire Recreation Club, Cal, and you were in the middle. I mean, a lot of the things that they were doing wrong, I think it was them putting themselves in bare positions to try and chase down the runs. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, a lot of the outs were just uncalled for outs. Disciplined shots and decisions by the batsmen. I think the only one that was really unfortunate was Akema. He got out to a really good catch.
Oh yeah, that one-handed right, dive to the right.
Yeah, and the rest were just like, I'm just getting beat ball and they're getting out off of shots that shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, and Doc, I must say, in the St. George's Western Stars match, Jason Anderson took a blinder. Reminded him of his goalkeeping days where he went full length to his left and then took this catch off of Durande Bascom. Yeah, I mean even his teammates were shocked. He took that catch,
Jason was doing a very good feed and all run in it area. He was diving, stopping a lot. He stopped he must stop 15, 20 runs easily.
That's right. Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely some good fielding. Both teams fielded well and bowled well. That's why he seemed to get a low total. But I watched a little bit of the rack game when they came. I think they saw the last 3 guys got just like Cal was saying. a lot of them was going across the line. There was,
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, nobody was hitting the ball straight. When
Straight,
the ball was staying low and not, none of them, they was going across. I saw the last 2 or 3 got billed. I was like, okay, I didn't know what the score was, but
right.
I know from watching it online that some of Shabril did struggle too, but they end up getting 100. Once I knew they got 100 and something, I thought that might have been a good
total for him. Yeah.
Got to build that for Devonshire Wright.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about who stands out as the player of the week. We didn't get a chance to talk about Mikael Walker's performance yesterday in the county match. 10.2 overs, 3 maidens, 6 for 24. He put on a burling display early in the St. David's inning that had them pegged back right from the start. If you look at it, 1 for none, 2 for 2, 3 for 12, 4 for 38, 5 for 40, 6 for 55, 7 for 75, 8 for 85, 9 for 85, and then the 105 for all out. And I personally don't need to go any further than that performance yesterday to say that you guys could change. You guys could make another decision, but I'm taking Mikael Walker as the player of the week. Over to you two.
Okay.
I think it's been a low scoring weekend, but his performance was outstanding.
Yes.
He was top notch.
Yes.
Yeah. And what I like about his building, he quite a few of them were built.
Yes.
He was had variation. He had a little slow one.
Right.
Then he had a nice York again, like when he built. I think it was
OJ. Yeah.
So it was nice to see a nice fast builder come in, run in, and build and really build and build at the stumps. Build. And like I said, St. David's never recovered from that really.
Right.
Yeah.
The other surprise yesterday
was today. I didn't even know if he played today. I don't know what his stats was today, but
let's see if he did play today. But the other surprise would have been Malachi Jones, who's been building spin for Warwick all season, running in from the boundary to build for Bailey's Day yesterday. We were joking before the game, and he had said, "God's told him, you're in this team to build, not build spin. You're in this team to build. You're taking the ball, get your tail back there, and come in and build." And that's what he done. So let's see if Walker built today.
I don't think he built or even played.
Yeah, he didn't build.
But he deserved the rest. I mean,
definitely.
He
wasn't in the team today.
I thought I saw him late in the innings, like he was pulling. I know he was pulling his back or his leg, but maybe because it was just maybe could have been tiredness too.
Right.
But he had a good spell of building.
Yeah. Well,
really put a dent on St. Davis.
There was right from the start. Yeah, definitely.
You think that Red Bull made a difference, Earl?
The Red Bull. Yeah. Right. Well, we realized he did not play today. Yeah. The Red Bull made a difference. Yeah. He was doing a lot. Being over the builder's arm, you see a lot of things happening, and Well, fellas, thank you very much for this evening. Next week, we'll know the cup match teams as they get selected on Saturday night. We'll be able to run down the players who are in form, out of form, in the teams, not in the teams, as well as the T20 roundup from Sunday. So we'll see you next week right here on the Island Stats Cricket Show. Have a good night. Thank you.
No problem, brother.